Okay. Alright, looking good. Alright, things are good. Alright, hello there everybody, this is pwned here. And man, it's been a while since the last time I did do a live stream. I definitely gotta get my groove back, but it's all good now. Okay, but anyways, welcome back to the great ACE Attorney Chronicles. Last time that we saw each other when it comes to this, we did the first case, and man, did it span for I don't know how long exactly? Several days? Maybe if I were to make my live streams longer, then maybe this would be shorter? I don't know. But for right now, let's go ahead and over to the next case. And let's see what kind of trouble we're going to get ourselves into, because knowing that Naruto Ryusuke or something like that, has been set free from a pretty darn messed up trial because of somehow the Japanese in the British Empire just freaking signed a treaty. This treaty was called, I do believe, the Friendship Treaty, and they don't want to risk the Friendship Treaty, so they were like, we gotta come with the judicial system of Japan was like, we gotta come up with something to appease the British people. I mean, appease the British Empire. So they decided to put up, pretty much a game of a court. Like basically, the person that was the person who actually did the crime went free because she was a British citizen. Or, yeah, British citizen, so she had to be tried in Great Britain, but then odds are she would just possibly get away with it. So now, let's see what we can get into this time. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing
Sholmes
the point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly...
It is him! Sherlock Holmes, baby!
Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
So it's a snake. Died from a snake? Don't tell me that Naruto is going to get accused of murder again.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The bolt was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
Reagents and a gun?
This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
And what do you think you're doing here?
No one must finish before maritime police come. We must wait. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you? And where have you come from?
Sherlock Holmes.
Consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Holmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
My head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait. I can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? Rhiannos, oh, he got accused of murder again. Oh, he's gonna get accused of murder again, huh? You had to drag it out of the wardrobe. I don't believe how you could not wake up. You're a true cold-blooded man. You. Huh, you found me then. We found you, and now you pay. Criminal. How long were you hiding in a tiny wardrobe, sorry? Now have you been found, it is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, Okay, no, I'll tell you everything. That's the one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that? Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? You pretend you don't know? You're a wolf in sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Don't try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-san. Kazuma-san's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin. That was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? He can't be. And these handcuffs, surely you don't think I have to know. Why did it take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. He didn't do it. No. No! He got accused of murder again. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It's really something else when you brought your luggage here earlier, though. That way the Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case on the floor. I thought I was going to die. I still can't quite believe that. I really think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must even be less of a man than you look. I honestly thought I had broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I have a feeling those Russians won't be forgiving a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotova. You mean? From your close friend. More to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. If she knew what we had done, she would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come in and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you gotta get in there, I think. It won't be for long. Anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'm in for it. Stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't you write "keep out" or something this piece of paper? What? I can stick around the wardrobe once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for 15 days. How could this have happened? We're supposed to be going on an adventure in England, together. We leave you in the next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make any more trouble for yourself. Murderer? No, I'm not a murderer. Dot, you said before. You meant to ever leave out your crows. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but... murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san. Please tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there's something I would like to ask you too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare's getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I could do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they think I did it. They think I'm Kasuma's killer. And they found him in the cabin. The cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole, and a bolt down in the door is operated from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped the four walls. Or put it in another way, the culprit can only have been stolen from the inside this cabin. Or do you have any other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die? Then what exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge? Even despite the circumstance? Please decide, son. You have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died. The ship's doctor's examining the body, but of course, he has a post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose that we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port. There's no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes? He's been accused of murder again. Can't anyone tell me what's actually happening to the cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kasuma? Presumably there's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. You were here in the cabin after all. He would always wake up before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting until outside his cabin as I have every day. so far this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato arrived at the cabin door? I wonder. I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman had forced the cabin door open, and when we were managed to get inside, there was Kasuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. And the white tape is shown exactly where the body was found, I suppose. I had no idea what had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard for me to believe too, trust me. Now I told you everything I know. It's my turn to ask you a question. Oh, yeah, that's alright. Oh, my head feels so heavy. And it's still throbbing like anything. Yeah, he was a stowaway. Why are you even aboard the ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something about being a stowaway, didn't you? Yes, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kasuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would be impossible. Obviously. Yes, of course. Kasuma-san invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Luca! Luca, I am so sorry, Luca. When it comes to these late streams, barely no one came on. Thank you very much, Luca, for the lurk. When you go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea ahead of my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. Yes, that was an awesome trial, I have to admit. That was the most awesome trial ever. That lady friggin' squirmed herself out of there. We had a tight-knit case. She would have been pwned, but nope. She squirmed herself out. And it was awesome. I'm also gonna make a YouTube short on what happened in the trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you thought I'd become a lawyer yourself? Oh yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. But I never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you could decide for yourself. London is the spearhead of cultural development center of the world, in many ways. Ah yes, the Great British Empire. Basically, they were conquerors back then. There can't be any harm seeing it such an important place with your own eyes. Can't see there. Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kasuma-sama he's always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Yeah, Kasuma must feel insignificant. Because he couldn't really defend his best friend. That we had to defend ourselves. Basically, he was just there to watch. It sucks, man. Like, you wanted to be a lawyer? You wanted to defend your best friend? But then knowing that Forces was like saying, I'm sorry, but you cannot defend your best friend. Your best friend must defend himself. Susana-san. I'm sorry that we kept this secret from you, my stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kasuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me to avoid me from becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in the cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kasuma brought me something to eat, like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kasuma-sama was killed? Yeah, well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really. Really I do, but it's the truth. If only I had woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. If for some reason my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? He had a hangover. There's something wrong? Oh no, it's... Please forget it. Susana-san, please believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is there is no one else who could have possibly done this. Yes, someone could. Someone got up from the air duct. I don't understand why. Why did this have to happen? Ugh, I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Kasuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around with my hands tied while whoever did it walks free? Well, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to find out what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kasuma's life, and how, and why they did it. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. She did a jujitsu move? That was a Susato takedown. A Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to? Have you forgotten already? You've achieved it just a few weeks ago. Ah, the court record. You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Oh, I see. Okay. So we gotta go to the court record. Okay. I had to get Susana to believe me. I have to show her some evidence that proves that I'm not the killer. Paper seal, man.
Yes!
Tell me, when was I discovered in this wardrobe before? Was this piece of paper stuck over the door? Oh yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought Kasuma always puts it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. But just in case a cabin steward or another member of the crew decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Yeah, if someone were to go inside the freaking wardrobe, that would have been destroyed. Or ripped off. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe door before he opened it then. If I were truly the culprit, I wouldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the door on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kasuma thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Do you think you can help me out? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here at least. So you finally believe me. I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. He is some kind of country. Okay. She thinks I'm a magician. Okay, for now I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible here. I'll do the same. Okay, we're gonna tamper with the crime scene, okay? I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you don't do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. Yeah, I'm gonna throw off objections on all the pieces of evidence. Make hurricanes come out of my finger. Well, I should make a start here investigating here in any way I can. Okay? Kasuma, I swear. I'll avenge your death. Okay, so we need to examine. Okay, what's this? That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? No, I'm not a dog. I had the table, of course. Which makes the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kasuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. He didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Does that mean poor Kasuma-sama spent on this last night on Earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Okay. Oh dear, that won't do. Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused, I also forget to look around properly. Yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you were foolish as me in regard to that freaking Naruto-san. I'm sure you're careful at looking around with using B and M. Okay? Let's investigate all of the corners. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small up until now. Okay. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes. It carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. And I was brought inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it says this way up in Japanese, which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over, and then I was tossed to the floor here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Yeah, it was less painful than sustain. Okay. Kasuma's desk. This is where Kasuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kasuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It is though he wrote his last entries incomplete, which means what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened. Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. That's out of the question. What? Kasuma-sama may have to part this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. For Kasuma-sama, I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, it is needed for more clues, important. Okay. Okay, in summer 2 weeks, we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh no, I suppose not. Well, that must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. Because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Okay. Segi, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kasuma. Yeah, his calligraphy was always a reflection of his heart. Yeah, can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to do? Even though you stole away on the ship? Now you're gonna bring that up, aren't you? I can't win. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to be broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute Mitsuki fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kasuma. He couldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with it, would he? Then the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It's some sort of brick-like hue. It's a color of a brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color than anything else in the cabin. Did Kasuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. I suppose when he wrote this message by dipping his finger in his spillage. Poor Kasuma-san. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose that he was trying to leave us some kind of clue. In the final moments, he was. I'm sorry, partner. But I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What language is it? It's Russian. But I don't know. It's a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they're all toppled the same way. And it's a statue of some god of the sea, though he has fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost the whole shelf has been ransacked with everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kasuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Yeah, Kasuma's too neat. It was you, Naruto-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books in a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown in the case, I wonder. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Nice! Are those rules of passengers for the travel up on the SS Bruria? It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? What are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a... Okay, give me a sec. I gotta get my light on. Okay, I am most definitely a pet. I can't decide. But one thing's for sure, either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Okay, and his sword? That's Kasuma's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. He was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on his ship. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go away just yet. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes us see this crime. Excuse me? What? I was wondering, how is it going? The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me that Japanese people do not make jokes. But that's not true, I see. Sorry. The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. It was supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He convinced you're guilty. You might have useful information though. I have to keep trying. So last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Niet. Which means no. Of course not. No. Back to the corner of the room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, you seemed a little flustered. When I went for help, the crewman forced the door open. This bolt has been firmly closed, and it's in a small bolt that's particularly sturdy, and it slides right across the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there is no way that anyone could get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across the outside of the room in a situation like this. That's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of the cabin, in its frame, is made out of metal, and is sealed together perfectly. There will be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick, I'm afraid. If she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles up and down my spine. Aha! The air vent! The motherfucking air vent! Opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Is that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yeah, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. Well, that's true. Perhaps so this Rainy and Spray don't want to find their way in. The seas are rough, or something like that. I suppose maybe that's it. Yeah. Okay, how in the world did he get here? Yeah, how in the world did he get in here? How did he... You noticed that man too, haven't you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. Suspiciously tall. That or Hudo-san, don't tell me. You really don't know who that is. Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like the member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. Yeah, that's Sherlock Holmes for you. He's always unusual. And he's investigating Kasuma's deaths. Or he's just playing on it. I can't tell. In that case, we simply must talk to him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susano-san almost look uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect you to have noticed already, but in this case, press space. When there's a crosshair, you can converse with them. Alright, I'll get the suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point of my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Ugh. What exactly were you doing at Kasuma's desk just now? I see, fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now let's listen to venturing to foreign climes. You find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Oh well, that's true at least. But how? How to deduce I didn't... Did I know that, perhaps? It was recently a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? Well, of course, a great many things. There's a mystery, my dear madam. For example... Have you fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary? You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and are traveling to London, to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the original occupant of this very cabin discovered... Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. You don't need to hide the truth now. Nothing can deceive these eyes. Just to be clear, are you talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kasuma-sama. What? And you're planning a revolution too. Shameful behavior. No, listen, there's no way I... Now explain yourself, tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head? But was I not right? With this adventuring into foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Yes, maybe. Ah, there you have it, you see? What do you think of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. I'm not really sure what you can call a deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a breezy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. My apologies. How remiss of me. I'm none other than the greatest detective in the century, known to men and women all over the world. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susanoo-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruto-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he has deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Okay, I would like to converse with you. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what's your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the only Sherlock Holmes. Let's see, you're German. Sherlock, was it? I have no her. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Shums. Okay. You can read about it in my exploits in an exciting London publication. Oh yes, a Reddit magazine full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I've sent it from England, especially. Here it is, Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then. Indeed I am. And you have worked on many of your own stories? And decided to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake. I am not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your interference is backwards. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements in Chronicles in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson. Okay, basically John Watson, okay? Presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I have fantastically been busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having to solve a mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work whenever I should take this seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in the purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle reactions in this subject. The figurative glance, a twitch of muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Okay, so basically he is... Well, I'm not going to say it, but you get the idea. Those people who has what I like to call a gift. And this gift makes them observe things that, in the most slightest of detail, like basically, you can look at a person, you stare at them for a little bit, and then you find to see if that person has a reaction to being awkward and stuff like that. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all of these are data. Right. And a trained logistician makes deductions from this data in a blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is without fail the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago, how can he look in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have both for observation and deduction and fame. And that makes me the one that only her. No, Sherlock Holmes. Okay. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? I have managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow. Who do you suppose didn't discover the culprit in this cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you. Now, Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him? When I came anxious about Kasuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their numbers, gaining an entry to proceed to the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. In handcuffs, taking an excellent fit, Mr. Naruto. Ugh. The very moment I laid my eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Two facts, he said. Two facts. Mr. Holmes, tell us, please. What facts were you apparent when you came into the cabin this morning? Oh yes, but first let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape from the culprit. And question number two, the victim was Russian. The victim was Japanese. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What do you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That's the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kasuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head for this young Russian. Kasuma was Russian? Was he? Initially, I considered Gardrov, maybe the name of the killer, a certain Robert the Guard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided that it would be wrong not to look inside a wardrobe there at least. And where we found you, Naruto-san, sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Is it why I'm Russian too? I observed that you were in the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. If my memory serves, that outfit is a traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are traditional dress of the Russian people? I had And I had no idea that a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and a message that I might analyze if it were hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kasuma had already taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Yeah, thank you. Crime scene photo has been added to the court record. I can ask you something, Mr. Sholmes. What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know when you said I am a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that? Oh yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you explain your train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly been interesting. How many times I'm not telling I'm not Russian. I don't even speak Russian. Your deductions just now. Can we talk about your deductions before the thing you concluded about me, I mean? Oh yes, now the famous accurate troubling predicament you found yourself in. Actually, it was the other details I was hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Yes, the more sordid detail. A fairly commonplace deduction. We have here this morning's paper, and a headline reads, Revolutionary Vilian Bosek flees Russia via Shanghai. Wait, that place is going to Shanghai, that's where that lady was. Oh, the lady went to Shanghai to do her trial. We'll be able to meet her up again. Since when was Kasuma a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of Kasuma's voice wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary, one who killed every man who helped him to escape after its true identity was discovered. Yes, you, Villian. No, how could it be me? I don't look like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fierce revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on any ship passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. Well, what about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Oh yes, the journalist clearly interviewed a man and printed all the particulars in the article. The deeds of the man has perpetrated thus far, unless he's plotting. Because everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There is no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters? I wonder. And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite seemingly state in this article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where is it anyway? The Afghanistan place. Here, take a look at this paper for yourself. As a little memento of this great deduction. Thank you. I've absorbed all of the details within these pages. I think it's a bit rubbish. King has been entered into the court record. And you may find an article on the back of the page interesting well. On the back, catch your eyes over it and see if you need to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. There might be a picture or two. Okay. Court record? I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me either. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering as a sorry sight allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page is concerned with the fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary Wilson-Vernon flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, he told us that before. It also reads that those who see this man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. My goodness, he is fearsome. But presumably the newspaper article was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. He despises his beard to that degree. He only needed to shave it off. I'm not sure that it's quite the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, look at the back. Oh, this isn't interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruto-san? Oh no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word of it, I'm afraid. Nor can I. But look at this picture. You're a beautiful Russian princess, do you think? Yeah, she's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know, I can't make any sense with this. I'm glad you noticed this article. Ugh. Allow me to give you a short summary of this content. Thank you. He pops up everywhere. About this disappearance of this young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novich Ballet. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Write a Russian name so I don't remember. It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found missing in a dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you pictured, which is worth 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an incredible sum of money. Susanna-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is a property of Novich Ballet. It would seem that the writer was beside herself of worry. I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and a valuable tiara. They requested international assistance at all ports of sailing to Great Britain. This could be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country. It does seem the Russian thing to do. I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruto. Okay, it's been added to the court record. Before we get started talking, were you examining Kazuma's desk earlier? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. I see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was taking notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It's my business to know what other people don't. Yes, believe it or not, I am smattering. I know a smattering of Japanese. What the fudge is a smattering? Well, you know about this Susanna takedown is? Take him down! Take him down! Susanna, take him down. He's about to read Kazuma's book. Susuda-san, aren't you gonna throw the detective if one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruto-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, let's return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belongs to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, my dear boy. A smattering! Sayonara, a bonsai. Sayonara, bonsai, mikoto. Mikado. Nado. The truth's just suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So it's all the showing off before then. You would be so kind to show me. I would happen to read it for you, Mr. Sholmes. I am much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here, Kazuma's diary, consists of 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1283. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second reads, 1:35 a.m. What it looks like some sort of speckled band dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I have never heard of the expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man presumably referring that the lattice of the aeronaut wall, which connects the two adjoining cabins. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kasuma's diary has been added to the court record. So I believe I'm giving you enough to consider for the time being at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation. I believe if I am still too long for the seasickness to take hold. I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin doors which a ventilator connects to. Great detectives are curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhalation. So yes, I intend to investigate, hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that will be somewhat complicated. Why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you're clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know, not really. So what, are you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyways, as it is now. What do you mean? I mean, sir, this is... If you are the culprit, then you must play the part... If you are a culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. So off he goes, having just laughed at my face. His sense of humor is twisted as his name. Now, Ruin-san, what are you standing around there for? You must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way. Again? After Kasuma spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you ready to give up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? As if he gave me any other choice of rolling over apart. I think it's time for an investigation to finish off here, don't we? Let's go out and examining this cabin while we're here. Waiting for a chance to look next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there still isn't things I can help myself. I owe it to Kasuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, to bring the real culprit to justice. Is something wrong, Naruto-san? Oh no, it's just that crewman standing over there by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh yes, you're right, he does look familiar. Excuse me, sir? Yes, what can I do for you? I recognize that face, but it can't be. Yep. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew aboard the ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I expected this man to be on board. Perhaps his presence can help me out find out of this hopeless situation. Okay, geez. Okay, we're gonna need to save it. Okay, let me see. Okay. Well then everybody, it looks like this is gonna be it for today's live stream. I'm hoping that you all have enjoyed yourselves. Have a good day everyone.